All right, guys, welcome back. You better be ready for a hard-hitting episode here on the 3 of 7 podcast. We had Aunt Brooke in the studio for this conversation, along with me, of course, Chili, and Blake. Yeah, you're going to get some laughs and some good word out of this one, kind of all over the place. This episode's brought to you by Xoskin. You guys know I have been using Xoskin for years and years now. I want to tell you specifically about Xoskin toe socks. They are the best pair of socks on the market, period. Hands down, Nuff Said. I've got a pair of these socks that are about 3 years old, have thousands of miles on them. I still wear them to this day. They don't have any holes or tears or anything like that. You get what you pay for, man. These toe socks help prevent you from getting blisters in between your toes when you're running or hiking long distances. If you've never had a blister in between your toe, then you're not running far enough. You need to go further, and it'll make you realize real quick that's a terrible spot to get a blister. Xoskin socks cut down on friction, and they also don't stink near as bad as your average pair of socks because they have copper fibers woven into the fabric of the socks, just like all Xoskin apparel does. You can wear these things multiple runs. At least I do, because I hate washing clothes. Xoskin, they're awesome people, awesome products, and we just appreciate the opportunity to be partners with them. Please support the companies that support this show. Go check them out at xoskin.us. That's xoskin.us. I'll attach a link to their website, xoskin.us, and a pro code in the show notes of this episode. All right, guys, without further ado, here you go.
Yep. All of you need to get your tonsils out.
Well, everyone, thank you so much for tuning back into the 3 of 7 podcast. We couldn't do this without you guys that listen to the show. And we've been doing the podcast. Good gosh, how long, Blake? 3 years?
Yeah.
I remember some of the first episodes that we recorded. I had to drive over to Tim's house, Tim and Jessica's house. I was in Virginia because we didn't have internet at our house. And I had to drive over there and sit on his computer, and you were here in Georgia, and we would have a guest on somewhere. And that's how we would record the podcast.
Down in my basement.
Yeah, it's been an interesting journey, and we appreciate you guys tuning in. As you know, for the last probably 8 months or so, we've been putting out 2 episodes a week. We're going down to 1 episode per week right now. We've got some people ask, well, why are you doing that? Well, we've got some big trips coming up with some of our advanced students that have been through the basic course, been through the proving grounds, and now we've got some big advanced missions that are going to require us to be gone for long periods of time. And so we're going down to 1 episode a week for a little while. Wanted to let you guys know about that. If you want more, I also want to mention we have 60 live episodes up on the Patreon platform. So these are something we do called Resurrected. We do that with our Patreon members. Patreon's a thing where if you want to support the podcast, you can go sign up. If you are a VIP patron, I guess you should say, you have access to the whole bank of episodes. These are live video calls that we do with the group there on Patreon. There's 60 of them, man. Every one of them are 1+ hours. And that is believe it or not, I know you guys enjoy the 3 of 7 podcast, and I do too, but some of the most valuable conversation that you could want is in those episodes from Resurrected. I mean, that's my favorite thing that we do virtually, I guess you could say, because it's not just me or Blake. Me and Blake pretty much run Resurrected, but at the end of those conversations, the people on the call, they chime in with questions, input, adding to whatever the topic was for that episode. So I would encourage you to go check that out at least, because I think there's a lot of really good stuff well, I know there is, there on Patreon for you guys to go check out. You all right, buddy?
Just keep it moving.
All right. And this episode is brought to you by HOIST, our partners at HOIST. HOIST is our hydration partner here at 3 of 7 Project. I want to tell you guys a story about HOIST. I put some HOIST in my water bottle the other day because sometimes I like to do half water, half HOIST in my Nalgene bottle. And, I drank it down. It was in the evening after I'd got out of the sauna. I drank my water bottle down about halfway, and I got up the next morning, and I had forgot that I put it in there. So I went ahead and filled my water bottle back up with water, and I poured it in my kettle to make coffee. I always pour the water out of my Nalgene bottle into that kettle and then heat the water up and make coffee with it. And while I was pouring the water, the boiling water out of the kettle over my coffee grinds, I kept smelling. I was like, this don't smell right. And I'd like put my nose right up to the coffee grinds and, man, what is that smell? I'd completely forgotten that I put HOIST in my water bottle. And the whole time this is happening, and I'm just like, well, whatever. And I actually had the thought, maybe I should remake this coffee because it doesn't smell right. And then I thought, nah, I'm just going to drink it. And then I thought, man, I'm really lazy this morning. I'm too lazy to remake this coffee. And it kind of smelled like, y'all know the little pods in public restrooms in the like the urinals?
Mm-hmm. Urinal cake.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what it smelled like.
You ever gnawed on one of them before?
Well, that's essentially what that cup of coffee tasted like. And I sat out on my back porch, read my Bible, and drank my coffee.
You're the guy who tells everybody to put HOIST in their coffee.
No. Here's how you do HOIST in coffee. You have to have good coffee, and you take a sip of coffee, then you take a sip of HOIST.
Oh.
Okay? But don't boil HOIST and use it to make your coffee, because it creates, at least the grape flavor, creates an aroma that smells like the thing in the urinal.
So did you drink your coffee?
Drank the whole cup.
Dang.
I drank it too. I didn't even notice.
She drank it. She didn't even know it was in there. I was like, because I asked her, I was like, did that coffee taste funny to you? And she was like, no.
I thought you quit drinking coffee.
I had that morning. I was running late.
Oh, okay.
And I didn't have time to make matcha.
Oh, yeah. What's this matcha thing, boo?
It's green tea. But there's amino acids, and I could be getting this wrong. It's L something, so I'm guessing it's an amino acid that's naturally occurring in green tea that calms you with the caffeine. So it doesn't give me like that jittery, like I can drink more of it. And it's also got a lot of antioxidants.
Did you finish your HOIST?
Yeah, I'm back with you. Sorry about that.
Listeners. Let me tell you about HOIST. Hey, what's up with your matcha
Yeah,
tea?
he needed to deploy so he could get on his phone.
What
for
a
15
good
seconds.
ad. Hey, man, I had some coffee. It was nasty.
Anyways, no, HOIST is awesome if you don't try to make coffee with it. We've been using it here exclusively for, I guess, 3 or 4 months now, and hopefully you've heard us talking about it. If you get out and you run, you work out, you sauna, you sweat, you got to replace some stuff. What are the things that HOIST helps you replace? Chili?
All the electrolytes.
Okay.
Sodium, magnesium, potassium, all that. I've never seen a product that had the levels that it has while also not having a bunch of junk ingredients in it.
Yeah.
Sugar's good too. It's not super high.
Right.
No preservatives.
Yeah.
Like, there's all kinds of these products out there, but none of them, like, some of them it's pretty clean, or, it's got a good amount of electrolytes, or, it tastes good, but this is the one that, to me, hits all three that none other does.
Yeah.
So,
and on top of that, they're good people.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah. On top of that, they're awesome people. The representatives of HOIST that we work with closely, they're freaking awesome. Shout out to Allie.
Allie's coming out with that magazine.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Maybe she can take us noodling down here in Nakusa.
Yeah, maybe so.
Man, that would be so much fun.
So if you want to support the podcast, one way you can do that is to support the companies that support the podcast. We are highly selective of who we let in as partners here at 307 Project, and Hoist made the cut for sure. Go and get you some. Try it out at drinkhoist.com. Drinkhoist.com. I'll attach a link to their website and also a pro code in the show notes of this episode so you can give them a shot. And I think you're going to be happy because we are. And if we're happy, why would you not be happy?
Everybody's like us.
Yeah, everybody's just like we are. Well, it's interesting because me and Chili had that conversation earlier. And by the way, we have Biscuit on the podcast today.
Nah.
This is the first time Biscuit and Chili have been on the podcast together.
Is it true? Is that true?
I'm pretty sure.
That's not true.
I don't think it's true either.
We have like multiple times. I remember the last time was after we did the physical standards test.
Oh yeah, when I was playing We Are the Champions.
And he was so pissed.
You got our
YouTube video
demonetized.
Oh dang!
Played copyright music.
Oh crap!
Yeah, no.
Oops. Yeah, we've been on before.
Yeah, multiple
Quit
times.
trying to make a big deal about
what
it.
kind of mood
Calm down.
What kind of mood are you in? You just came off a 80-minute massage session. I figured.
I'm tired. In a good way. You're just too much for me. You just talked for like 10 minutes about coffee and hoist. Like, I'm just a little overwhelmed.
Welcome to the 307 podcast, Biscuit.
We got to talk about something funny or...
How was that workout this morning?
It was good. It was a freaking butt ton of wall balls. Y'all looked like you had fun.
Wall balls.
I finally won.
I'm freaking pissed.
Chad and Chili challenge.
I can't believe that Chili was that close to you on that assault bike.
I don't think he did all his burpees.
I definitely did all my burpees. I gotta say, I didn't do those burpees with much. They weren't much count. I mean, them.
How do you not much count? Your chest hits the ground, you stand up, you jump, your chest hits the ground.
I didn't put my hands over my head.
You don't have to.
Well, that's what Glenn told me.
Glenn said you have to.
Oh, well, crap.
Make
We
it
didn't.
count.
We didn't really specify what the
No.
form rules were.
I didn't know that.
I mean, I look like a fish flopping up and down.
No, we did, Chili. The only rule was you had to go down and your chest had to touch the ground.
That's true.
And then you had to come up and your feet just had to leave the ground.
That's
true.
what I thought.
That's true. I mean, I did it to what our rules were, but as far as the burpee, I think in general goes, you did it, and mine
Yeah.
probably wouldn't have counted.
And CrossFit's stupid as crap anyway, so why
Thank
are we
you.
going to
Why-
go by their rules?
Why?
Agreed.
Why are you hating on CrossFit?
Agreed.
Why did you have to do that?
Well,
It's kind of a running theme on the show.
Chad did it.
You
with,
do CrossFit like multiple times a week. You pay lots of money to go to CrossFit.
No, I don't.
You know what he does?
He's got CrossFit shoes.
You know what he does?
what does he do?
He takes these stabs at things to get reactions from people, just in general, and he'll just pick something at random that comes to his mind, like I hate socks. They're the stupidest thing anyone's ever came up with, and it's just to get a rise out of everybody.
You think that's true, Blake?
That's what you say
What do I say?
about socks.
No. Socks was just don't get distracted on the socks. That was just an example.
Well, I agree with that, but
What, the socks or the?
yeah.
Why are you?
He also agrees CrossFit's stupid.
yeah, I mean, I said that in the video relentlessly because it's inane that anyone would do that.
Nobody likes things they're not good at anyways.
Well,
That's why I don't like running. I'm not
I'll
good
tell
at
you
it.
what, I certainly ain't good. Well, I ain't good at running either, but I mean, I don't even like running. You know what? I don't even like it. We talked about I don't even like it.
Yeah.
I don't like nothing. I don't like nothing. That's what I like.
Yeah.
I like nothing. So go ahead.
Little Debbie's?
Well,
You don't like Little Debbie's?
So if you guys didn't know, there's a new show that's coming out. It's Chad versus Chili, and it's on our channel, our YouTube channel. So this morning we did a fitness test this morning. The challenge, it was a workout I came up with long ago called the Centurion. All right, and it is 100 burpees, 100 calories on the assault bike, and a 100-meter run for time.
I thought that was called the Combat Standards Test.
that's way different.
The Combat Standards Test is a whole different workout.
Oh,
For a guy that doesn't like CrossFit, you come up with a lot of CrossFit workdots.
No, it's not. It has nothing to do with CrossFit.
It's an assault bike.
no CrossFit isn't an organization that we have nothing to do with.
Exactly.
Where did you
The
guys?
Centurion is
Where did you guys do the Centurion this morning?
At a gym.
At what kind of gym? What kind of gym was it?
Our buddy's gym.
Yeah, our buddy's gym.
Blake, what kind of gym was it?
CrossFit.
Oh, okay.
I had explicit permission to do that challenge this morning at the gym.
Well, I'm pissed I lost it, but
Well, just barely. You just barely lost.
Well, yeah, just barely.
Even though you cheated on your burpees, which the camera will show. You guys go watch the video when it comes out, and the camera will show Chili didn't do all his burpees. And then
no, I did all of them. I don't think the form,
And then on the bike, he was 1 calorie ahead of me pretty much the entire time. And in the last 20 calories, I pulled 8 calories ahead of him.
I
So,
didn't
he
realize
was
you
close.
should use your arms when you're doing that assault bike.
No, you didn't realize that.
No,
You thought you just limp noodled, hold on to the.
That's what I do. That's what I do. I just hold them, and then my legs just kind of take them. I don't push and pull. Apparently, if you push and pull, I think that's how he got me so much at the end there.
Huh.
I just use my legs the whole time. So I'm going to practice using my arms on that assault bike, see if it makes a
ain't gonna do
difference.
you much good with them noodle arms. You might should just not use them.
He's got some muscular shoulders.
I
That's
do.
just because he's so skinny.
I do have some boulder shoulders, I will say.
Boulder shoulders.
For a small little cat, I got some big shoulders,
We were talking about today after the workout. I was telling
Pitiful.
Jeff at CrossFit about our bidet we have at home.
Ugh.
And
Have you used that thing yet, Biscuit?
I'm scared. I'm scared. It's going to be like jumping off a cliff the first
You
time
ain't
that
even-
cold water hits your butthole.
I
It's
installed that by hand.
Did you?
He
I
did.
did.
So the conversation was we should install them at CrossFit in all the toilets.
Be more sanitary.
Well, we were discussing that, and I thought that was the case, but they made a different case that's actually true. That people might use their hand in the washing process.
Who in the heck would do that?
Have you ever wiped your butthole with your hand?
Well, yeah. But why would you do that on purpose?
Wait, without toilet paper?
What'd you do it on accident? Oh, darn.
No, have y'all not ever tried that?
Well, that's what people around the world do.
Wait, what do you mean? Without
Yeah, I
toilet
do.
paper?
I
Yeah.
just put something between my hand and
That's why.
I need you to differentiate. You're saying
in a lot of Muslim countries, I forget the exact thing, but essentially, people will
3 fingers.
shake your hand with their left hand because they use their right hand to wipe their butt.
with a bidet
No,
No.
they don't have. They crap in holes in the ground.
and no toilet paper?
No toilet. No, there's nothing. I remember walking into a bathroom in Djibouti.
No
And-
pun intended.
literally, all it was a room with a tile floor and a hole about as big around as that Nalgene bottle in the floor, and that's it. There's no toilet paper. There's nothing.
That's
it's
a big
just a
hole.
hole in the ground.
It's a big hole for your booty.
You don't sit on it. You just third world squat and,
Nobody gets
and
it.
try to poo in it. Yeah.
Well,
So luckily I had some toilet paper with me, and I was able to do my business without using my hand.
Okay, so do they wash their hands after?
Probably not. Probably don't. So that's really a thing, but
Oh man.
you got to make a real game time decision in that case of are you going to wipe with your hand and then not be able to wash it, or just stand up and go. That's kind of what you got to make the call with.
who from the listeners has been to Camp Leminar in Djibouti, Africa? You know what I'm talking about if you've been there. I lived in a Connex box there for weeks. It's miserable. Blake's getting mad over here. He's getting frustrated.
just bored now.
Well, you're sick.
Well,
Got all y'all in here.
speaking of Blake, I would like to for Biscuit to explain to the listeners why Blake had that dad bod for so long. Because we finally came to a conclusion of why he had that dad bod for so long.
He's too healthy.
He's in shape now.
He's too healthy.
Yeah.
I don't think Blake ever had a dad bod. He's pulling up his shirt to reveal his abs right now. and he's pinching
Oh,
the
he's in
teeny
shape
bit
for the
of
first
fat.
time in years now.
Oh, he crushes you in CrossFit. That's
hadn't-
why you don't like CrossFit.
I hadn't ate in a week. That's why I'm so thin.
I never thought Blake would be able to beat me in a workout. I never thought, and he beats me now.
Yep.
It's crazy how shape he got in. But you found out why he got into that dad bod shape.
Yeah. Well, I did pictures. It was funny. I did pictures for a couple like 3 or 4 days ago, and they have a newborn. And the dad was telling me he's like an anxious. He's kind of like me. He's like wants everything planned. He's an anxious kind of.
And also
high-
like Blake.
yeah, high energy personality. And he was like, I was like, well, man, are you more stressed now that you have this new baby? He's like, no, it's the opposite. And that kind of stuck with me. I was like, well, that's weird. He must just be like an outlier. And then I was listening to the Huberman Lab podcast, and they said when a dad has a newborn, their testosterone drops by 40 up to 40%. Cortisol drops threefold. Estrogen shoots through the roof. And
Dang.
it's like a normal phenomenon. They don't know what causes it. They don't know if it's like pheromones or it's looking at the baby or what causes it. Why are you making all these faces?
I can
Do
understand.
you have something to
I
say?
can understand it from a natural
It softens
perspective why it would do that.
Here's why it happens, because the baby needs protection from the male. Testosterone's what makes you go out and seek sex. So if they drop your testosterone, you're going to hang an estrogen. That's your attachment hormone. You're going to stick around. You're not going to worry about finding another lady.
I think it just softens you.
Well, it does that too.
I think you see a sweet little baby and you're like, oh, and you get for a minute there, you lose all your strength.
So
And you-
Blake's finally got over that stage. His testosterone's back up. His fitness is coming back up. So it takes 3 to 5 years to get over
you
that.
don't listen to him.
Well,
if
no,
you're
that's
listening to this
what it
podcast.
does. Ultimately, your testosterone goes higher than it was before, because then you got to man up and protect the thing.
It could also
Protect
have
the
to do
thing.
with that I sat in a truck and drove around for 5 years and didn't do a whole lot other than run a couple days a week. Now
No, it
I
ain't got
work
nothing to do
out
with
for a
that.
living.
Well, there's also the thing, like when you worked at your previous job, you were surrounded by a bunch of larger, low estrogen men.
Low
and
estrogen.
I mean low testosterone men. No offense. And you're just surrounded. Like they talked about that on that podcast too, like who you surround yourself with all the time.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, he still surrounds himself with low T man. He hangs out with me and Chad.
Biscuit ain't got low T. He got no T.
Got no teeth.
That's why he's disabled, ain't it?
Yep.
I can't do nothing, son. Yeah, and it's interesting that all of these things happen, and just the other day you were having a serious conversation with
Why are
me
you shaking your head around like this?
about potentially having children, and I'm like, wow, that sounds now, after gathering all this information, it sounds even worse. And you're trying to have a serious conversation with me about having a child one day?
I think you could benefit from a little estrogen, boo boo.
No.
You could. You'd be a little nicer. You wouldn't be so combative about everything.
No. It'd be opposite for me.
Less manipulative.
He might just go off the rails.
Oh, my foot cramped.
Now, look, if this is, yeah, you're right. I would go off the rails.
What?
because
Why?
Here's the thing.
Imagine that.
All this crap that's going on in the world, if it just affects me, I can get over it. But if I saw that all this crap that's going on was affecting my child, I would be much angrier about it than I am now. And I would liable to go off the rails.
Have you ever been on the rails?
Yeah, I'm pretty on the rails these days, ain't I, Blake?
Yeah. Somewhat. Except when you hang out with Chili for a week.
Oh yeah, that's bad.
Yeah.
That's bad.
That gets you riled up.
You got a heavy influence on him, Chili.
Yeah, you do.
That ain't good.
Because he condones and actually, like, what's the word I'm looking for? You hype him up on the dumb crap he comes up with. And other people like Blake
No,
and me
no.
and
Same person.
Krista.
No.
This is what I'm saying. Yeah, he'll
No,
call
no, no,
you to fuss about something silly, and you'll be like, "Oh man, that is just absolutely terrible. That person is a freaking idiot," and all this crap. And you'll just
If he's right, I don't know. I mean, sometimes he's right. Oftentimes he's wrong. But when he's right, I'm like, yeah, man, let's go get him. But I mean, yeah, no, I don't.
Yeah.
I'm not a bad influence.
We're just the same person.
We're not the same person.
We feed off it. When you combine us, it's like a monster, you know?
Like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
Yeah.
Gets
Then
him
they
off.
come together and form the Hulk.
Yeah.
Gets him off the rails. Well, that ain't good. But I don't. I think you're pretty subdued right now.
Yeah. I think I am too. And, Nathan sent me this today, Boo. It says, this is a question from a friend who just had a new baby. How do you do it? How do you find the time to sleep and relax at all while balancing work and parenting and life in general? And the father of 3 answers and says, that's the neat thing. You don't. And you're trying to convince me to have kids? No. Me and Chili ain't having kids.
I'm not. I'm not.
Yo, you and me ain't having kids. No, no kidding.
I was not trying to convince you.
When did y'all make that decision?
Yeah,
What the crap?
Oh, boy.
I never ever said we should have kids. Let me try to convince you. I told you that the conversations with my clients made me think for a minute about it. And I told you I'm not having any major discussions about it for another year or so.
1 year.
So I don't know why you keep telling people that I try to convince you to have kids.
What, in a year, y'all going to start talking about it?
I think logistically, even if we had kids right now, we would be the old people at like all of the,
We're getting old, buddy.
like
Yeah.
we would be the old
You're not.
parents.
Me and Brooke are.
No, y'all are still young.
Brooks are nearly the same age I am.
Yeah.
She's older than you.
By like a year.
No, yeah, that ain't old to have kids.
Well, but when they're 18, graduating high school, we would be what, 50? No. Wow, I can't do math. Yeah, in our 50s.
Yeah, you'd be right at 50. My parents were older than that.
Really?
Lord, yeah.
How old was your mom when she had you?
I don't remember, but they were both in their 50s whenever I graduated high school. For sure.
I don't know. I'm still not convinced that we should have kids. I was just talking about it. I like how you twisted it, though.
Do you think we're cut out for it, Blake?
If you wanted to do it, you could.
You really think so?
Yeah. I mean, you wouldn't have a choice. You're not the type of people to say, nah, we're going to give this thing up. So
I told him, I was like, man, with my drug use and with him going through SEAL training and also all the saunaing you do, heat kills sperm. You freaking immature turd. You would giggle when I say sperm.
I held it in.
Oh my gosh. So
I just squeaked a little.
we might not be able to have kids.
Well, me and Chili's already made that decision.
That you guys aren't having kids.
Yep.
Didn't they have the first pregnant man recently?
I don't
The
know.
world can't handle it.
Who would carry the baby between both of you?
That don't even make any sense.
Chili's hips aren't wide enough, boo-boo. I think you would have to do it.
I'm not saying we're not having kids together. I'm saying we are not having kids.
He's got the low T and the childbearing hip, so he'd carry it.
I wonder when the man gives birth if it comes out his butthole.
This podcast is getting off the rails. We need to restart. It's 30 minutes. Nobody's going to listen to this.
Baby, you're getting sucked into this alternate reality that look, it's not a man has never had a baby.
No.
It's a woman who is confused and sick
No, I'm
saying that they are a man and then having a
No,
child.
I think that they have. Okay, I don't know.
Yeah, it's
impossible.
It's impossible. It's impossible. Period.
Boo boo. They.
Comes out of the belly button, by the way.
Okay, I'm done.
Okay. All right. Why you got to get me fired up on that?
I think it's funny.
Oh my gosh.
She'll assault you later when you go off about it.
Oh my gosh.
Oh man.
Well, let's talk about this. Let's just go around the horn and let's just check in with each other. And since we got the whole crew here, and
I'm good at this.
and
I like that.
let's see where we're at. Well, let's see where we're at. If you've got anything in terms of body, soul, and spirit, all right. Let's see where you're at. All right.
What do you mean? Where?
If you got any of those areas where you're growing in, I mean, whether it's mental, emotional stuff, whether it's your spiritual life or whether it's your fitness. I mean, I've seen Chili here go from stud to dud.
He almost said the opposite.
And back to stud. So he's got some stuff going on in the body, right? He's doing well again. For me, I guess one of the most.
Is this the beginning of your check-in?
Yeah, this is the beginning of my check-in.
Oh, okay.
Yep. For me, I think from a body standpoint, nothing crazy going on. I am running more, taking off some muscle, focusing on getting back into running because we've got some ideas of what we want to do here in the upcoming future. As far as the mental aspect, a huge lesson that I learned that I shared with Chili earlier is that, and I think it's a really, for me, it's a really important lesson. As someone who is seen as at times a coach or a mentor or whatever, somebody who can give advice on especially fitness type stuff, I learned here recently that the way that I do things, the way that my mind ticks, I can't necessarily advise other people to do it the same way because it just ain't going to work for them, right? So, I live in this, I have at many times in my life been in this place where I think, well, I got figured out what works for me, and it really works very well. The way that I compete, the way that I race, the way I do things, right? And it's allowed me to accomplish some difficult things in life. But not everybody's like me. And if I tell you to do something exactly like I do it, you might implode. All right? So I have to be careful about how I tell people to approach challenges, situations, things like that. Essentially, it needs to be said in a way of, hey, this is how I do it. This is why it worked for me. But don't think that you have to do it that way, right? Because initially, I think everybody can handle the same way my mind processes things, and it's going to work for them just like it worked for me. But that's not true. So that's just me growing as a coach or whatever you want to call it.
Well, you've always said that I can't tell you how to do it. I can just tell you what's worked for me.
Yeah, but
you've operated like they'll be able to do it like you.
Yes.
And when you get mad at me, when someone will ask, well, how many reps should I do on this? Or how many miles should I do here? And I'm like, hey man, it's different for everybody. Like I can share with you what I did and everything else, but sometimes I think you get frustrated because you want to be able to give this one solution. But people are so different. I mean, if you take 10 different people and try to coach them to be a better runner, you can give general advice that will apply to everybody, and that is what you should focus on. But if you really wanted to help somebody, it would look different for each person.
Yeah.
Absolutely it would. I do things a certain way all the time that I know going in to never advise the people.
Mm-hmm.
The way I race and stuff, I ain't going to advise that, but it works for me.
Yeah.
And it probably would work for some other people, but it ain't gonna work for a lot of people. So you give people what is pretty much universally applicable, and then share some of the specifics with them, but be like, don't copy everything.
Yeah.
Because it ain't gonna
copy everything at your own peril.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, a lot of it, man, and this, once again, is not what people want to hear and maybe not what you want to say, but beyond just the universally applicable stuff, it's trial and error. So you can get advice from somebody on what to try, but then when it don't work, try something else.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the reason we've got to where we operate the way that we operate, all of us, in whatever we do, is because we've put in the time, got the experience,
Yeah.
tried things, failed a lot. I never tried anything because someone else said, hey, this is how I do it, but I tried all kinds of stuff that I dreamt up and it didn't work.
Mm-hmm.
But then you find stuff that does.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, everybody's so unique and individual that advice is hard to give broadly.
Yep.
But in the position you're in, it's tempting to do that.
Yeah.
Because you can't.
Because I see it work for me.
Because you see it work for you, and you can't just really coach all these people individually. You can't do that.
Yeah.
You'd never be able to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to give the most broad stuff, but, you know, when you get into the specifics of how you do things, there's a lot of people that are like, well, like you said, they'll implode.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So that's something that I've learned. And then from a spiritual place, just kind of what I've been contemplating the last, I guess, day or so is how much my faith really, like, how much it means to me. Because, man, when I see things, I saw something hard yesterday, and I won't go into details about it because it's not my story. But when I see things that are happening in the world today, the ultimate conclusion is there is no fixing it. No, it's just going to continuously degrade. And so I can begin to get, you know, like a lot of people, negative and angry and all these things. And my faith is, it's the only thing that makes this life worthwhile to me. It's it. And it's interesting to me that a lot of people that might think that our faith is a silly thing and they see it as a crutch. How many times have you heard people say, essentially, your faith is just a crutch? I know I've heard it a lot. It's a crutch for weaker people, right? Well, I want to tell you right now, it's not a crutch. It's the wheelchair. It's the only thing propping me up, period. It's not something that I'm leaning on. No, it's legitimately the only thing that's holding me up. It's not a crutch. So if you say it's a crutch, you're totally wrong. But you're not wrong by saying it's you're wrong in the sense that you think it's something that's propping me up and helping me. No, it's the only thing that's holding me up. That's it. Mm-hmm. And my faith is the most precious gift thing that I possess. It is the only thing that gives me hope for the rest of my days here on this earth. And so that's where I'm at spiritually. Those are some of the lessons learned I've had just within the last couple of days. So where you at, Chillweed?
What, with everything?
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, you saw how I just did that, man. We're the same
do it
person.
like he did
do it
it.
the same way I did it.
well,
Worked for him.
He didn't even talk about how his. Anyway, look, physically, I'm healthier than I've been in a long time.
Yes, you are,
So
friend.
I'm not really very fit right now, but I'm healthy enough to I've been able to work on it for a little bit.
You came from a dark place, Chili.
I was not healthy for a long time, and yeah, I'm super thankful that I'm at least healthier than I was.
We're glad to have you back.
Like I said, I'm not really fit, but I think I'm healthier than I've been in a long time, and that's something. So, really thankful for that, and mentally, what would I say about that? Mentally, I don't know. I think all the stuff that goes on in the world that kind of bothers you kind of comes in waves.
Yeah, it does.
It kind of comes in waves, and it'll bother you at a lot more at certain times, more so than others. And I don't really know quite what exactly causes the strain to be lesser at certain times and heightened at others. Maybe it's because of you just saw something that disturbed you, like you talked about yesterday.
Yeah.
Like that may incite you to get really strained and angry for a while, or sometimes it's like doesn't even really have a trigger. And I don't know. Right now, I almost feel like it's this lull. I have an overwhelming sense of the calm before the storm. And to call this the calm with all this going on is you're like, well, it's not calm. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff going on. It's a whirlwind. It's a flurry of stuff. But to me, I think that's when people are looking at the wrong things. There's actually a strange sense, if you look at the world, of this 30,000-foot view picture of the entire world, and it's actually calm. The news is a flurry of stuff, and yeah, if you lived in the daggum outskirts of China and you were a Uyghur Muslim and you're enslaved right now, well, guess what? Yeah, your life is not calm. It's terrible. If you lived in North Korea or if you lived in wherever, there's wars going on in Yemen right now that nobody wants to freaking talk about that are atrocities. And so yeah, if you lived in one of those places, you wouldn't feel like the world is calm. But so I understand that me saying that is like, yeah, I'm sitting here in a comfortable chair in the United States. But I just think there's a strange, lately I've not even been super strained and stressed about it. And I noticed that I wasn't, and I think that's a good thing to not be worried. But I also think there's just like a lull that's happening, and people aren't ready in the way that they need to be for what's coming. And what I mean by that is when a lot of these big events happen, people are seemingly always caught off guard. And I don't understand that, because you should always see that it's coming, but people don't see it. And to me, I feel like that right now, like something is rapidly approaching that is going to catch people off guard again, and I don't know why. Mm-hmm. And that's just what's been on my mind. Mm-hmm. I know when I say stuff like this, it never makes any sense, but I'm trying to do what you said. So,
well, it is interesting how you have calmed down quite a bit on even our private conversations that we have, how you have calmed down quite a bit on what is happening in the world. And I can tell, I at least think it's not bothering you, or you're not thinking about it. Not that it bothers you, but thinking about it on the same level that you usually would. And I would say it has been amazing to see you fall into your new role and passion with the video projects that we've been working on. And I just feel like you have really fell into, something that you're very gifted at. and something that you're contributing to in a huge way. As a matter of fact, if it was just me and Blake and we didn't have you doing what you're doing, we would never be able to reach the people that we're reaching. And so I think, I mean, give God the glory, like give Christ the glory that he brought the three of us together. But, you know, I'm hoping that, man, the purpose that we're finding and the roles and responsibilities that we're finding in the new projects that we're working on does help shield us mentally from all the freaking background noise that's going on, right? And Chili talks about being prepared for what's coming. That doesn't mean to hole up and not live life. I want you to know that whatever happens, whatever comes down the pipe, there is opportunity awaits for those of us who are strong, who are bold, who are willing to seize the opportunities. Because guess what's going to happen? Whatever does happen, however bad it gets, right? All of the weak people, guess what they do? They go hide. They go bury their head in the sand. So those of us who have the strength, the tools, the knowledge, the skills, the faith, the courage, the boldness to get out and do what we were created to do amongst whatever's happening in the world, you talk about winning, son. That's when you win. You don't win big in good times, because in good times, you've got everybody doing the same freaking thing, right? But when it gets tough, that's when the winners have the ultimate opportunity to win. So if you are kind of reclusing back into your shell like a box turtle, and you think that you're going to save yourself by living a life in that style because you're afraid of some recession, or you're afraid of some collapse, or you're afraid of something, guess what? Ultimately, you will be the creator of your own demise by reclusing back and being a coward, right? So I just wanted to throw that in there, Chili.
Well, a way to surefire not prepare for what is coming or what may be coming is to go store up a bunch of crap and sit on it.
Exactly.
Trust me, like that. But why does everybody's mind go there?
It's cowardly.
I don't know what it is. But I think people think that will work.
Yeah, that don't work.
No, it don't work at all. So yeah, that's a good point, because that is not how that is done. And really, to try to be a little more clear, just real quick, what I meant is, I'm not thinking about these things any less. It's just, like I said, I don't know what makes the stuff to come and go. Like
You're too busy winning. You're too busy winning right now.
Well, no, I still think about it, but like there's just a shift in the world that I can feel. I mean, it's literally like a
we
tide.
initially hired you as a prophet. That's still part of your job. So,
well,
The planets were aligned, 2 weeks ago? It's probably why you've been feeling calm.
well, I don't believe in that numerology crap, but
where you at spiritually? You still stuck in Romans?
well, yeah, I still read that all the time. A lot, probably the main focus, just because I think, I think those questions that we talk about a lot, and of how faith works, it, to me, that's the most important thing. When you say to try to figure out, I always say you can't really figure some of these questions out, but I think that's the central question, is how faith works, So that's why I say stay stuck on that so long, just because I think it's worth looking at all the time, literally forever, because someone like me, who has grown up a certain way and changed over the years, and and the different perspectives I've been given with the life that I have lived, as unextravagant as it may seem to some people, it's it's interesting. And I think I've been offered some things that other people haven't. I mean, everybody has, but, and I don't know. It just, it makes that question mean a lot to me, all the time, even if you can't ever answer it. And I think it to me, it's the central like if you want to help people, if you want to evangelize like so many do that I would call unequipped, to me it's important to understand that aspect of it if you want to help people. Can you help people by not understanding it? Sure. I'm not placing limits on God saying he can't work through people that don't even know what they're saying. Mm-hmm. You know, but I think it's on us to figure out, have a defense for why we believe what we believe, have a defense for the attacks that you're going to have. Like when you talk about people that are going to be attacked, like Christians are going to be attacked. Well, if I know an attack is coming, I want to have a defense for that attack ready.
Yeah.
You understand that? And I think a lot of people, they're like, yeah, they say that all the time. They're like, hey, we're going to be attacked. We're going to be persecuted. What's your defense? And they go, well, I don't really have one. I'll just pray that God will protect me. And that, I'm not crapping on that. Like without him, you can't do it on your own. You can't save yourself. But I think it's on us to have a defense. Because some of these attacks, man, they're not going to be attacks where like, it's not just, I think some people think so singularly, like when it says Christians are going to be persecuted and attacked, that means they're going to be systematically killed or something like that. Yeah, that might happen. In fact, it is happening in places like China and other places. But the attacks come in another way sometimes. Sometimes it's attacking what you say.
Yeah.
And those are different attacks, but you still need a defense for them. Mm-hmm. It can crush people if they're not ready for that. And I just am really passionate about that because I've seen it happen a lot. I think it wrecks people's world, and it's not a good thing. So yeah, that's another, I mean, that's explaining more why I do study in Romans, and just soteriology in general. Why I basically always am thinking and studying about that, at least part of the time, is because I think that is, if you could boil down what is the most important thing, that's it. That has to be it. Because I think so many people, it's interesting how they do. They focus on their relationship with God, and they're like, well, if mine's good, then everything's okay. And it's like, well, I think we're here to help other people. You know what I'm saying? And I think your relationship can be strengthened by helping other people. But if you're unequipped to do that, or you don't even care about doing that, I just think I don't know, man. I don't know. Like, because what we do is to help other people. And if we don't try to do our best with that, we're failing.
Yeah. Yeah. If we choose to remain willfully stupid
and complacent.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Brooke asked me a question the other day. She has this list of questions that she randomly pulls out and begins to ask them. And she said, if you could wake up tomorrow with a single quality
or ability
that, you could just get this, what would that be? And mine was the ability to love people better. That was mine. Mm-hmm. If I could wake up with one single quality without having to work at it, without having to strive for it, and I just innately had it, it would be the ability to love people better and deeper and stronger than I can now. So I agree with you, Chili. Everything that we do, that is the foundation of it, is to hopefully help others. And I would challenge you to, no matter what your business is, for that to be your model, because it works.
Well, and I'll be honest too, that's a good ability to to wish for if you could, have one, because I got a lot of hate in me. I mean, a lot. And I don't know how to even reconcile it sometimes, because I love people, but then you turn around and be like, yeah, but I have this hate that's almost hard to even identify, like lingers around. Sometimes it's not even directed at anything. And like, I don't know. I think that has to be eliminated, because it's not hate is none of that is good. It's never any good. I think sometimes, in my mind at least, you can equate it with some kind of a strength or something. No, that's different. Like, ain't nothing good comes from hate.
No.
It's not. You should never equate that with strength, or
it will actually destroy you.
Yeah. So any of that you harbor, I don't, I think to truly do what we're saying, that has to be out of you.
Yes.
Which means it has to be explored, which means you have to do emotional, mental work that a lot of...
Can't do that.
Yeah, that you two are not very good at.
Well, thank you for that expose, Chili.
Sorry, that was really long. This will be a long one, though, right?
Yeah, yeah. I just wanted to check in with Biscuit before she fell asleep.
I'm not falling asleep. I was listening.
I know you were.
Why do you say that?
You said you were tired earlier.
I'm good.
I need to turn the heat up.
Yeah.
No, that's what's keeping me good, is it's not freaking 76 degrees in here.
Yeah, I want to check in with you, baby, because I know you've been going through a lot. You're steady going through seasons of growth and change, and physically, mentally, and spiritually. You're probably the most interesting person in the room right now, without dispute. So,
I don't agree with that. I'm about ready to share the latest trial I had, and that I have come out of that with feels like a freaking rocket attached to me of growth. That's just like, geez. But it shook me up to where I knew what I had to do. I just didn't want to do it, and I've been putting stuff off for years. So yeah, I am in a big season of growth, but I'm enjoying it. But it's funny, I knew what I wanted to share, and Chili kind of mirrored it just in a different way in the beginning. Not your expose, but the beginning of it, when you started sharing about how sometimes the seasons. What I was going to share was, today, what's on my mind is the last week I've had really good days. I've just felt good. I've felt peace. I've felt happiness and joy. And this morning I just woke up and literally stepped up, stood out of bed and couldn't take a deep breath. And I'm like, dang it. And I know that feeling. And I have no idea where it came from. Everything's great. I can go in my journal just to make sure. And I mean, everything's wonderful. And it's my nervous system is just no. And so all day today, I've been how can I not dwell on the good days when I'm having these bad days? Because that's what I want to do. I want to be okay, yesterday was a really good day. What did you do? What did you eat? What was your mindset? Who were you around? And it's that does me no good. I need to be in today, and I need to show up for the people I need to show up for, whether that's my friends or my job or my family or whoever. So I've got to learn to lean into the suffering almost. And I listened to a Bible Project thing this morning that talked about the verse that not only that we rejoice in our sufferings, knowing that suffering produces endurance, endurance produces character, blah, blah, blah. And then also the Hebrew Men podcast was talking about how we've got it wrong about stress, that short-term stress can be beneficial for your body and your immune system.
Yeah.
And so that was kind of cool for me, because I'm all about stuff being beneficial. That makes me excited. And so I'm okay, today I might not feel very good, and I might fight off a panic attack in the afternoon, and my heart rate might zip up for no reason, and I might get sweaty and just kind of feel mentally foggy. and I don't know the answer, but I'm still in it right now. How do I enjoy the day the best I can and not waste it and be in today and not be like, well, tomorrow will be better, or how do I make it like yesterday?
That's pretty powerful, Blue.
Did that make sense?
Oh, it made total sense. Yeah.
So yeah, that's
That's a journey for sure.
yeah. And I've been trying the gratitude stuff, and I think the gratitude stuff works. It seems kind of cliche because so many people push it. It's like a new age thing. But I think speaking out loud, praying definitely helps, which I think praying and gratitude are like one and the same.
Well, I think when you talk about speaking out loud, I think that the difference is it is a fact that if you speak out loud, it affects your mood. It can affect, your perception of what's happening. You're not creating anything with your words. Like this is you do have to draw a line between the two, because there's one train of thought that says, oh, well, you're speaking to the universe, and then the universe is going to react to what you
manifesting.
say. Yeah, that is absolutely ridiculous. But your words are powerful enough to influence you and also the people around you. Obviously, words are weird things, man. They're weird things. I mean, they have a sting to them. They can hurt others. You can hurt yourself with them. They're strange things. You've talked about language and words and stuff before, and how, man, it's just when you really think deeply and try to get to the bottom of how did all this freaking even end up this way, you can't even come to a conclusion about it. But yeah, that's the delineation between the two for sure.
Yeah, and I think the words, body language, your actions, and I do believe that there are times when you can use those tools to pull yourself out of a day like I'm having today. And I think there are other times when, like, for whatever reason, whether it's the stuff of the world is on your heart or you've had something bad happen, you might have to, like, try. And then if it doesn't alleviate, you just sit in it, Like, that could be a time that you explore things about yourself, that are not fun, because you're already in that spot. You might as well just do it. But, like, a good example of this that I've found it works sometimes, was the other day. I was so grumpy all day long. I had no idea why. And you were in a great mood, and we were supposed to spend the day together. And I remember you were outside on the back porch. I don't know what you were doing. And I was on the couch, and I was like, I'm going to have my quiet time. So I leaned back, closed my eyes, and usually it takes me a minute to quiet my mind enough to, like, get into thought. This was immediate. And I was like, man, I was praying. I was like, help me with this. Like, I don't want to waste today. I don't want to feel like this anymore. Help me. And my mind, God, whatever you want to say, said, well, what do you want this evening to look like? Like, what would this optimally look like to you if you were to, like, fantasize about your evening with your husband? And, like, I visualized that, still grumpy as heck. My mind was like, well, go do that. And so, like, I awkwardly, like, I just felt so gross to, like, open the door and go sit by you and look at you and smile. And, like, it felt so wrong for about 2 minutes. And then it went away. And I was like, whoa. Like, that was the first time that worked for me, And I think it's possible sometimes if you can fight through. I think it's self-centeredness is what it is in those moments. Is like, I'm so focused on my own struggle that I'm not thinking about, like, what has your day been like? How can I connect with you? Or,
That's one of the best ways to get out of your own head, definitely, is to focus on someone else.
It's
but
great.
It does take intentional discipline to make yourself get up and do that.
Yeah.
And it's pretty interesting because you can pat yourself on the back right now and be assured you didn't waste the day today, because I believe your conversation you just shared with thousands of people is going to help many people. So if you don't do anything else for the rest of the day, you didn't waste the day.
Well, thanks, Boo Boo.
So What about physically and spiritually?
Physically, I'm doing great. I'm seeing for the first time in probably a year, I'm seeing like significant gains in the gym. I'm not running a lot because my body is not doing well with it, which is really frustrating, but I'm trying not to like hone in on that.
Running's bad for you anyway.
Oh my gosh. But I got pull-ups. I finally can do like multiple pull-ups with no band. And then a lot of my lifts are getting heavier pretty quickly, and I'm just really excited about it. So physically, I'm really good. Spiritually, I think I'm really good. I think everybody's like this, and I don't know, but my spiritual life has always gone in ebbs and flows. And like I've had a really good week the last week, so I haven't been as connected as I wanted to, I guess because the desperation isn't there.
Yeah.
So I want to work on that. I want to work on ways to remind myself when things are really good, how to stay connected spiritually. But I also can't complain spiritually. I mean, everything's going. I think I'm making the progress I want to make spiritually right now.
That's awesome, boo.
Yeah.
I thought it was interesting the just if you could share just briefly. The other day we had a conversation about you were having a day where you felt disconnected, right? And we talked about and by no means are we saying this is the diagnosis, but we talked about detaching from the phone for the next day. And me and Chili talked about that this morning, and you decided to do that. And for whatever reason, you had a much better day the next day. But we had a pretty in-depth discussion about that I thought could be pretty valuable, at least to remind people that these phones are, I think it's safe to say these phones are killing us.
Yeah. I noticed a big difference. I know other people can relate to the default of moments where you have rest or moments of breaks throughout the day. You grab your phone.
Yeah.
And the biggest one for me was in the morning, at least 30 minutes before I look at my phone. I turn my alarm off, and then it just stays at the bedside, and I get up and go. But I'm trying to remember what our conversation in depth was. I don't know.
Well, it was essentially about how when you get sucked into that phone, you lose perception of what is actually around you, right? The reality that is around you. So you're just floating around in this false reality, and that's where you're living, right? And what made me think of it is I also will begin to feel very detached if I spend too much time on that phone, right? Yeah. And what actually grounds you is reality, right? So when I'm sitting somewhere in a beautiful place and I all of a sudden notice the sound of the wind as it is moving through the leaves and the birds that are chirping and just all the little noises and colors and movements and then that is what is grounding, and that is the way us as humans were designed to live and function and operate. But we're floating around in this reality that's been created in this virtual land that isn't real. And so no wonder people are feeling ungrounded and feeling like they're blown by any wind or issue or whatever it is, because you're not in reality, right?
I think there are also like subtle physical parts of like your sympathetic nervous system when you are going into fight or flight, or like people like me who have just generalized anxiety, your heart rate's up, you don't feel well. Naturally, your vision closes in. Yeah. And so I personally feel like there is something about my perception being this teeny little box that's a few inches for a long period of time is not good. Like they've shown that looking around and broadening your eyesight and your perception of your surroundings can calm you. Mm-hmm. So what the heck is looking at this thing doing? The opposite, you know? Yeah. Like I think there's like mechanical, functional things happening aside from our brains just fizzling away.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
You're exactly right. I told Chili earlier today, I said, I don't want to be laying on my deathbed whenever that comes thinking, man, I wish I wouldn't have spent those thousands and thousands of hours on this device.
yeah.
And we've got to, I'm preaching to myself. I've got to nip that in the butt sometime. And me and Chili have a goal by 2025. We're cell phone free.
Yeah.
Why
We're
can't
cell
you
phone
just
free.
get the flip phone that doesn't do internet?
We're landline. We're going to be landline.
Yeah. The
That ain't gonna work.
the flip phone thing, I had one I didn't get a phone until I was like 17, and it was a flip phone. And I had that for several years before I had to get this for school, college, and I've always hated the things. I've always thought, because to me, I know I'm an all or nothing guy, but they're unnatural.
Mm-hmm.
So when people want to say this stuff like wait 30 minutes before you look at it when you get up, I think that helps, but it only helps because it's just less of it.
Yeah.
Like I think to actually alleviate all the problems that they cause, you have to cut it out completely. To me, that's how I work. Like I don't know how you could do this thing in moderation.
It's designed to not allow you to do it in moderation.
Go scroll on Instagram mindlessly for 30 minutes. I only limit it to 30 minutes. It's like, no, man, just don't do it at all. And now, like all the arguments, man, technology progressing is natural, right? That's what we as humans do. And if you didn't use Instagram 3 of 7 or YouTube or whatever, we wouldn't have a business. I get it, man. But somehow you have to figure out a way to look at it less and less and less, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And you may never get to zero, but to me, any bit less you can do is good. And I don't think people are striving to look at it less. I think they're just accepting to look at it more.
Yep.
So, I don't know. My goal is 0 because I think we can pull it off by 2025.
My goal would be 0 too. We can hire Blake to do any
Look at y'all's phones.
Y'all
and
want
Blake sends us a letter or delivers us a letter at the end of every day and says these are the people that are important that you need to talk to, and then we can call them on our landline.
We'll even make a YouTube video out of it. In 2025, we're going to drive down to South Georgia and throw our phones in the ocean.
Well, Blake's going to die an early death.
I know, right?
Y'all might get a lot of use out of me for about 2 years.
Oh man, poor old Blake over there, man. He's just made himself way too valuable these last couple of months.
Just these last few
I only make myself valuable doing things I like to do. So
Blake's
if I don't like to do it, it don't matter how valuable.
Blake's been sick, and he made the comment earlier. He said, it's been really weird. Chad's called me like 3 times a day just to check in on me and see how I'm feeling. And I said, well, Blake, I didn't used to really care if you were sick, but now you're too dang important, man. We got to get you back well, son.
Yeah, I told Chili, I said, darn it, Chad had me questioning if I was sicker than I actually thought I was. The way he's calling me, I was like, I'm about to die? Does he know something I don't?
Well, how you doing now?
I feel all right. Got a sore throat still. So, yeah, ready to get this mess behind me.
Yeah.
Body ain't no count.
No, I hadn't eaten about a week. Going on a week fast, water only.
I can tell it's wearing on you.
Yeah, it's getting old.
Get them tonsils out.
I'm about to get my pocket knife.
Just cut them out.
Yeah.
Chili acts like you can just go to the nearest urgent care and be like, take these puppies out for me.
Oh, you can. You can.
Yeah.
Huh.
What's up with you, Blake? You ain't said a word.
Well, I'm just listening. Ain't much to say. But for me personally, I guess y'all seem to think I'm getting in better shape, so I guess there's that. But the past week being sick, it's been, I guess not harder, but less desirable to get up, and I have my routine. I'm a man of routines, and I would drink my coffee, and I would eat my 2 packs of oatmeal with a scoop of peanut butter in it, and I would read my Bible. And the other day I got up to do it, and I couldn't even eat my oatmeal because my throat was hurting so bad, so I just got aggravated.
I'll vouch for that. I saw the full bowl of oatmeal sitting over here on the side table.
Yep, I hadn't had a cup of coffee since last Thursday.
Jeez, really?
Yeah.
You just haven't felt like drinking coffee?
Well, I don't like to swallow nothing.
Oh my gosh.
Well, and when you're
Detoxing.
sick, when I had a fever, like I didn't want to drink hot coffee.
Yeah, I guess
Should
that
have
makes
sat in
sense.
sauna.
But so then, then that leads to me like things are out of whack, and then I don't have the desire to read my Bible. I don't feel good. I'll like try to force it, but then I'm just like, oh, man, I don't want to do this. So then, that gets me out of sorts. But that's just been in the past week. So the body has caused the spirit to dwindle while the body's dwindled. And, I guess soul, mind, skills, things like that. I mean, as much as you say, made yourself way too valuable. I just enjoy doing the video stuff. Like, I think I can be, it's given me a spot to where I can be creative. I've never been a real creative person, like, like coming up with ideas or visualizing designs or brands. But as I do it more, I can get more creative with the editing and like different shot angles and playing with the camera. And I like gear and things like that. So it gives me something to research and look up, what's the better or the best one. And so I've been having a lot of fun with that. Really, it's as much of a pain in the butt as it may seem or sound like to other people. It's actually pretty fun to me. So I've been enjoying that. And yeah, I mean, that's really about where I'm at in the most recent terms.
Well, you had to find something else to spend money on because you have every gun known
Yeah,
to
I'm
man.
about to sell some.
He has every gun that's ever been made, I think, and so he had to find something that required gear, and pretty much an endless amount of gear, and so now he has many lenses and many cameras and many things that I don't even know what they do. But he has them, all kinds of sticks and
Sticks.
Blake said
and-
he's not creative. I don't think everybody is creative. I don't think they are, but I do think Blake is. I think sometimes
Blake is smart.
well, he's that too, but I think people only sometimes call people that are creative. It's when they're creative abstractly. Mm-hmm. But you're creative in a practical, concrete way. Like when you're making those videos and the editing choices you make, they're creative. I mean, they really are. Like it's stuff I didn't think about. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, that's creative. It may be a different way than some people, but it's definitely creative. And I would encourage everybody to go watch them because they're freaking good. So
You know what the best part is when we film a video and then Blake goes through the entire editing process and uploading and I get on there and I review the video and then I call him and say, Blake, I think we can do that better. Just go ahead and can that. We're gonna have to redo that.
I couldn't handle that.
it's insane.
I mean, he doesn't yell at me, but I can feel literally through the phone. I can feel his anger at me.
No, it's just like hang my head like, wasted hours.
I mean, it's fine if you have like a few points or whatever, but when you say just can the thing, it's like, you just told somebody to throw away their art.
You know,
he just made an art piece that you said, throw it away.
Yeah.
Do it again.
Well, he does it under the ploy if he didn't do good on it.
Yeah,
that he
well.
wants to.
oh my god.
You got to think about that in the dang moment.
Well, I know.
You think
but
about that while you're filming it.
it's my job as the producer to make these hard calls, man.
No.
I mean,
you talked about last week. Oh no.
whoa.
That you were like, we got to figure out how to get Blake healthy and all this stuff. You know why he got sick? Because he's been staying up till 1 o'clock in the morning editing these videos that you keep making him cancel and redo. That's why he got sick.
Well, no, I think he hadn't had enough stress on him. Remember, stress actually helps build your immune system. So
Short term.
yeah,
Very, yeah.
short term meaning a week. I mean,
No. Don't just spit stuff out like that that you don't know.
I don't think he's been stressed out enough.
Yeah.
That's the reason I canceled a few of these most recent videos is to stress him out a little bit.
That makes me cringe too.
If you want to come live over here for a couple days and see if there's enough stress around this house.
Oh, when he's around any kids, he gets like this by the end. He gets real stiff, and when we get home, he's like, "Oh, the quiet."
Yeah, when I see him leave the other day, he was like this in the car, gripping his steering wheel.
He does.
I got around a kid the other day and pulled my hamstring. Didn't even move. Just my hamstring just pulled.
And blowed your peck out.
Yeah. Yep. Well, guys, this was a fun conversation. I hope you got some good laughs out of it. I hope you got some good wisdom out of it, especially from Aunt Brooke over there. And if you enjoyed the show, we ask that you just please share the show. We would appreciate it. That's how it grows. Obviously, we don't pay to advertise this show in any places. So the only way it grows, that's one thing I love about the podcast, is it grows by word of mouth. And that creates the right kind of people, right? So you guys that listen to the podcast, you are some of our most important people, and we appreciate that. So hopefully you did get something out of it, and share it, and we would appreciate it. And I think that's all I got for today. That was actually a long episode. You all right over there, Biscuit?
Yeah.
You gonna go home and take you a nap?
No.
All right then.
You gonna use the bidet?
Possibly. I might let you video it, post it on the Instagram story.
I wouldn't get caught dead using that thing.
We'll send that to our editor. See if they can do something with it.
That one won't see the light of day.
All right, we love you guys. Enough said.